And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Roach again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight He will not fight those guys. That's just not who Tank is.
Tank has spent his entire career dealing with accusations that he avoids the toughest fights. Critics have always pointed out how he never fought Vasily Lomachenko when the Ukrainian was at his peak, how he sidestepped Devin Haney, and how he didn't seem eager to take on Shakur Stevenson. And now, after the most controversial fight of his career, fans are once again saying the same thing. This time, it's Lamont Roach Jr.
I already signed. My first contract is signed for an immediate rematch in the case of a draw or if I win. So I'm already contractually signed to a rematch. It's on him. I hope we can get it done because I want to show the world again that that wasn't a fluke.
For years, nobody had truly come close to dethroning Tank. Every opponent he faced either got knocked out or dominated. But on the night he fought Lamont Roach Jr., something different happened.
That was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say.
Roach didn't just survive, he made it a real fight. He went blow for blow, he hurt Tank, and most importantly, he walked out of that ring with the belief that he had done enough to win. The judges didn't agree, scoring it a majority draw, but the boxing world was split. Many believed Roach had exposed Tank in a way that nobody else ever had. The moment the fight ended, the demand for a rematch was everywhere.
Lamont Roach, he feels that he won. Like, do you think the best thing going forward, they should just run it back, have a rematch?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I think a rematch is definitely called for. And I think probably, the sooner the better.
Yeah.
So I would say, hey, let's work on a deal to where we could get in there within the next 4 to 5 months.
Yeah, I agree there.
Right after the fight, Davis started dropping hints that a rematch wouldn't be happening anytime soon. His first words in the post-fight interview were vague. When asked if he would run it back, he dodged the question and instead talked about how Roach wasn't as tough as people thought. Weeks later, when the pressure for the rematch has started to heat up, he took to social media to say, "We'll see what happens, but right now I got other things to handle." That was enough for many to believe he was looking for an escape route. Roach's camp immediately called him out, saying he was trying to avoid the rematch.
So technically, his fans might not even want him to run it back because they might fear that he could lose again or he could draw again.
Yeah.
Tank might go find some other little dude to pull up, and then they're gonna act like, "Oh, yeah, it's business, it's business." It's like, no, it's not business, bro. He's picking and choosing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what's next, but my thing is this: I feel like if he don't fight Lamont Roach, he gonna look crazy.
Now Tank has finally admitted it. Not only is he not rushing to fight Roach again, but he has already set his sights on another fight. When asked about the rematch, his answer was clear. It will, but right now I'm focused on another thing. That was all it took for fans to go into a frenzy. This is exactly what people were expecting. Many had been saying from the moment the first fight ended that Tank would find a way to move on without giving Roach another shot.
We could get it before. It probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next. You might see it in a minute.
And now, with his latest admission, the criticism is only getting louder. Once again, people are calling him a fighter who picks his opponents carefully, someone who doesn't want to take on real threats back to back. If Roach was able to take Tank to a draw, what happens in a second fight when Roach comes back even better? That's the question fans are asking, and Tank's refusal to commit to the rematch is only adding fuel to the fire. Roach, on the other hand, has been relentless. He has made it clear that he wants the rematch immediately and has called Tank out on multiple occasions. However, Tank's corner believes different. They even believe that Tank didn't even break the rules.
Were you ever concerned at all that it could get overturned, and what'd you think when they upheld it?
I thought they were, upheld it. He didn't break the rules. A lot of people seen him take a knee and thought he broke a rule, but hey, they did the right thing.
His team even went as far as saying that Davis and his camp are scared of what might happen in a second fight. That statement alone has only made the situation worse for Tank, because whether it's true or not, it's something that a lot of people actually believe. Tank has never been in a position where the public was this uncertain about him. He has always been the dominant force, the knockout artist who left no doubt about his victories. But for the first time in his career, fans are questioning him. For the first time, there is a real debate about whether he is as unbeatable as people once thought. And his decision to delay the rematch is making him look even more vulnerable.
Even me, I'm not a boxing aficionado, but I'm disappointed when I hear him say that we won't be able to see the rematch in 2025, and we're still in the first quarter, right? So that's kind of disappointing, right? So that lets you know the anticipation that people have.
Of course, Tank's fans argue that he has the right to move on if he wants to. They say that he is the A-side, the superstar, and that he doesn't owe Roach anything. If Roach really wants the fight, he can wait. That's how boxing works. The biggest names call the shots, and Tank is one of the biggest names in the sport. But even some of his own fans are starting to get frustrated. They want to see him in fights that prove he is the best. They don't want to hear excuses or delays. They want to see him settle unfinished business, and the Roach fight is now at the top of that list.
In case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we take it?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's gonna be soon. I'm hoping it's gonna be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
Roach stepped into the ring as the underdog, but
The more Tank talks about his other plans, the more people will assume he is ducking Roach. It doesn't help that he still hasn't named the other thing he's focused on. If it's another big fight, why not announce it? Why keep it a secret? That's what has people suspicious. If it's a fight against another top name, then maybe he has a point. But if it's just another hand-picked opponent, then the criticism is only going to get worse. Fans have been waiting for years to see him take on the best. Now, when he finally has a real challenger right in front of him, he seems to be backing away. Whether it's strategy, ego, or fear, only Tank knows the real reason.
Promoter Gary Jonas shed some light on the negotiations for the rematch. While he didn't give too many details, Jonas did say that the second bout between Davis and Roach Jr. is all but finalized. Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind: how close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal, and it's not far off.
However, even if Tank might have the final say on whether the rematch with Lamont Roach Jr. happens, not everyone in boxing is eager to see it take place just yet. Kesan Davis has made it clear that he has other plans, and those plans don't include watching Tank step into the ring with Roach again anytime soon. Why? Because Kesan sees something bigger for himself, and he's not afraid to make it known.
Kesan might be good enough at that. You face Kesan, and then Haney. Face Haney. Those are the guys you need to meet. It's Shakur, Haney that you need to beat for it alone. You beat those three, you're good, man.
Fresh off his dominant win over Dennis Berenchik, Kesan is holding on to the WBO lightweight title and looking ahead at the biggest names in the division. But his vision isn't just about chasing belts, it's about controlling the narrative. And that's exactly why he's now talking about facing Lamont Roach Jr. himself. This isn't just about making a big fight, this is about positioning himself as the real future of the lightweight division.
That Lamont, I think that just gives him more motivation to go out there, do the rematch, and as well, the people want to see it. You know, that kind of gives it the controversial look into it. It makes it more intriguing to everybody and want to watch the second fight.
All right, what happens in the second fight? Same fight, or what do you think?
No, I think Lamont's going to push more, but I think that even gives Tank a little bit more openings to maybe even finish the job better. But it goes to show you, I mean, hey, the hunger needs to be there. And I think Tank probably needed this too to kind of...
The timing couldn't be better either. The controversy surrounding the first Davis-Roach fight has left a bitter taste in the mouths of fans, and many still believe Roach deserved to win outright. A fight between Roach and Kesan Davis would do two things: give Roach another massive opportunity, and more importantly, allow Kesan to make a statement before Tank even gets the chance.
If you go on my honest opinion, I feel like me and Lamont Roach, stylistically, is the hottest fight in the weight division. Yeah. Lamont Roach stood right there with Gervonta, the hardest puncher in the division, right? So put him up against me. I'm not going nowhere.
Y'all really gonna box, man.
We're gonna fight. I feel like stylistically, that's one of the best matchups in the division for sure.
It's gonna be a lot of rolling in that fight.
You know,
Kesan's interest in fighting Roach is more than just words. During an interview on the Danza Project, he made it clear that he sees their matchup as the most exciting fight in the division. Me and Lamont Roach stylistically is the hottest fight in the weight division for sure, he said, giving Roach credit for the performance that won him so much respect. But respect doesn't mean hesitation. Kesan is ready, and if he gets his way, he'll fight Roach before Tank ever steps back into the ring with him. This throws an entirely new twist into the conversation about the rematch. If Roach and Kesan fight before Tank does, what does that mean for the rematch? If Roach loses, Tank suddenly has a perfect excuse to move on, claiming Roach was never that good in the first place.
That people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound for pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Yeah.
If Roach wins, the rematch becomes even bigger, but now Kesan has inserted himself as a major player, and Tank has to deal with both of them. Either way, this isn't just about one fight anymore, it's about how the entire division shakes out. Eddie Hearn has already made it clear that if the rematch does happen, it's going to be a bigger event than the first fight. Now Davis has got a rematch that's actually much bigger than the first fight, Hearn said during a March 27th interview with Fight Hub TV. But does that mean it's actually happening? Nothing is signed yet, and the longer Tank stays quiet, the more suspicious people get. Hearn added, I think he'll be more switched on for this maybe, but Roach is a good fighter. It won't be easy. That's the part that keeps getting overlooked. Tank didn't dominate Roach. He didn't cruise to an easy win. He struggled, and for a fighter with Tank's reputation, that's a serious problem.
He should have lost the fight. I mean, he should have had a point deducted. There's no doubt about that. But two, people criticised the Roach fight. I knew it would be a good fight because we know Roach is a good fighter, but people in boxing know that Roach is a good fighter. Now it's giving him another fight. Because if he would have beaten Roach, he's kind of backed in a corner to fight Shakur Stevenson, I think. But now he's got a rematch that's actually much bigger than the first fight. So yeah, I think he'll be more switched on for this maybe, but Roach is a good fighter, it won't be easy.
The controversy surrounding that first fight isn't going away anytime soon. The moment Tank delivered that illegal knee to Roach, everything changed. That moment should have cost him the fight. If the referee had made the correct call, Tank would have taken his first official loss as a pro. Instead, he got away with it, and the fight was scored a draw. The backlash was immediate. Fans called it a robbery. Analysts pointed out how Tank should have been disqualified, and even Roach's team knew that they had been cheated out of what should have been a career-defining win. The fact that Tank wasn't punished for the knee, nor for the self-imposed timeout he took right after, only made things worse. However, there's still those who think that Tank was just not focused.
I feel like Tank overall, like the bigger picture, he just wasn't focused for real. He, doing a lot of arguing in the ring and just a lot of stuff that wasn't like, he wasn't just focused. He wasn't all the way locked in the ring. You heard him say something like, it's a lot of things going on outside the ring that he was leading up to the fight, and shit, that's natural, you know what I'm saying? It's normal. Shit, I was going through the same thing with this last fight, right? So.
Bob Arum didn't hold back when giving his thoughts on the rematch, and for someone like Arum, who has been involved in boxing longer than most fighters have been alive, to call out Tank's performance so directly, it says a lot. I thought Roach won the fight. It was a close fight, Arum told Sean Zettel on March 28th, but then he took it a step further, questioning Tank's overall commitment to boxing. I think Davis has to start taking boxing seriously. It's not just a media kind of thing. I don't know the kid, but he seems sort of ordinary. That last statement hit hard. Calling a fighter like Tank ordinary is one of the most damning things anyone could say.
Personally. Naj, you got anything else from Lamont?
Yo, last question. I just want to know, how has your life changed since the fight, man? Obviously we follow each other on social media. I see your followers went up, all of the other stuff kind of going up. How has things changed for you since the fight has happened?
Bruh, literally overnight, it changed. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I gotta walk around with security. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I walk around with my peoples. Like, it's crazy. I can't.
The truth is, Tank didn't look like himself that night. He wasn't explosive, he wasn't dominant, and he definitely wasn't the same knockout artist that fans have come to expect. If he had been performing at the level people were used to, that illegal knee wouldn't have even mattered. He would have been so far ahead on the scorecards that one bad moment wouldn't have changed anything. But that wasn't the case. The fight was even. Roach gave as much as he got. And now, whether Tank wants to admit it or not, people are starting to question if he's really as great as they once thought.
Tank want a rematch. Do you let me know now? Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he open to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank
100%.
again?
It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Okay. They say they want it in New York again. Do you want to fight again in the Barclays Center?
I wouldn't mind, but I'd love for it to be in DC.
Okay. Cool.
I'd love for it to be in DC.
The biggest issue now is that Tank doesn't seem eager to run it back. If he was confident in a rematch, he would have already announced it. Instead, all fans are getting are vague statements and delays. Meanwhile, Roach is pushing hard for another chance, and Kesan Davis is trying to jump into the mix before Tank even makes a move. If Roach does end up fighting Kesan first and Kesan wins, Tank's entire legacy takes a hit. Because then, no matter what, people will say Tank wasn't the one who ended Roach's momentum. It was another fighter who stepped up and took the challenge.
And in the end, lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification. For sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
For years, Tank was seen as untouchable. Now, he looks vulnerable. And the worst part? It's not just because of his performance in the fight, it's because of his actions after it. Boxing fans respect fighters who take on all challenges, who don't hesitate to prove themselves. Right now, Tank isn't giving them that. He's giving them uncertainty. And in boxing, uncertainty is the one thing that can turn fans against you faster than anything else.
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need.
That performance from Gervonta Davis has got people talking in ways that his camp won't like. Paulie Malignaggi, never one to hold back, just lit a fire under the entire conversation. He didn't just say Tank had a bad night. He basically said the man is mentally soft, that his whole career has been protected, and that the people around him know it. That's not something you just brush off, especially coming from someone who's been in championship rematches and knows what mental toughness looks like.
The reason why I say this fight needs to happen again because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from Gervonta Davis saying that he was going to activate the rematch. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Would I like to see this fight happen? Yes, I would like to see the fight happen again because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. And I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas, in my opinion. But I think that Lamont Roach, I want to give a shout out to Lamont.
And let's be real, Malignaggi isn't the only one thinking this way. For years, hardcore boxing fans have whispered about Tank being handled with care, always facing guys he was expected to beat. People love his power, his knockouts. But where are the fights that truly tested him? Now, against a guy like Roach, the whispers turned into full-blown conversations. The moment the fight got rough, Davis started bending the rules, whether it was intentional or just instinctual. That knee, that moment of desperation, it looked bad. If the ref had done his job properly, Tank would have taken his first L, no question.
It's a little bit different. Right now, granted, they know each other, they fought in the amateurs, but it's still a lot of years away. And Gervonta does have a very athletic speed, quick reflex style. So you've got to sort of pressure intelligently. But while I have said in the past, and I still believe this, that Roach doesn't have that special thing, like where he's got really fast hands or a really powerful punch, he still has what I also said in the past, a very good IQ. He's very well trained and very...
Malignaggi's theory is brutal, but not far-fetched. If you've been kept in a bubble your whole career, avoiding real adversity, what happens when you finally face it? That's what Lamont Roach Jr. seemed to realize. He knew Tank from way back, knew how to approach him, and by the later rounds, the game plan became clear: drag him into deep waters, expose the cracks. Davis's supporters will call this blasphemy. They'll point to his highlight reel, his knockout power, the names on his resume. But if Malignaggi is right, if this frontrunner talk has truth to it, the rematch could be an even uglier night for Tank. Once a fighter gets exposed, there's no turning back. Roach now knows exactly what kind of pressure to apply, and if he sharpens his approach, the so-called invincible Tank might just fall apart. And then there's Kesan Davis, the rising star who's making his own moves in the division. He's watching this whole thing unfold, and you know he's thinking long-term. He isn't just focused on Roach or Davis, he's plotting a bigger path, possibly even waiting for one of them to slip up so he can slide in. If he sees weaknesses in Tank, if he sees an opportunity to make a statement, he's gonna take it.
Tank Davis, all I'm here to tell you is he's human just like the rest of these fighters. He's human. I felt he lost that night. They called it a draw, fine. They run it back again, guess what? I think Roach beats him the next time.
All of this means the rematch isn't just another big fight, it's a defining moment. Either Tank proves his doubters wrong and dominates, or everything Malignaggi said becomes undeniable. But the conversation isn't going away, and for the first time in his career, Gervonta Davis might have more to lose than just a belt. What do you think? Do you see the rematch happening soon? And do you see Roach winning when they get back in the ring? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.